If you have a habit of talking ill of rich people, you will never be rich. Then we talked about the skill of discipline and time management. The third was a good name, in other words, integrity. The fourth one today is strategic partnership. There are certain things we quote, but we don't know the background of the quotes. We often say it's good for a man to bear the yoke when he is young. Now, in the use of the word quote by the Jews, yoke by the Jews, it has two broad sets of meaning. One is positive and the other is negative. The positive one always has to do with a relationship. It always has to do with a relationship. Now, the yoke in that case is primarily a beam that has something that holds the neck of one of the animals, usually an ox. So you see a set of oxen that have to walk together. Now, it's usually unequal. The meaning of unequal is that one is big and experienced and has all it takes, and the other is young, inexperienced, and unable to walk much on his own. That refers to mentorship. You see, the small one cannot achieve anything standing on his own. It cannot. The other one can plow probably a hectare of land in a day, walking alone. But interestingly, when you join the two of them to work together, how many would they plow? Probably 3 acres of land. So it is even more than the big one times 2. So one of the yokes you must bear when you're young is strategic relationships. It is a currency of life. There are people that when you are associated with them, you gain an advantage of decades, 10, 20, 40 years appear to be added in advance to your life. It's not always immediately noticeable. In most cases, it's the bigger one. Sometimes it could even be somebody beneath you or at your level. But in most cases, it's the bigger one. In fact, the people we usually have issues around us with are usually the people who are appointed by God to stand as strategic partners with us. But sometimes we exaggerate weaknesses that we see in them and lose it. And decades down the line, we bite our fingers and say, wow, this is what I could have gotten from this. In life, whatever you admire is what you attract. If anybody possesses any quality you do not admire, naturally that quality will elude you. If you have a habit of talking ill of rich people, you will never be rich.